This broadcast is rated inappropriate for all ages. Right here on the watch spot, and I am Kamurai. Thank you for tuning in and watching, etc., etc. Bruh, 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 bruh. I don't know what that did. I just attempted to tweet it out, I think. I don't know, the Tumblr and the Twitter teas. Too similar. Too similar. But this is where I talk about things and stuff I've been watching much later than I normally would like to do this. So we'll try to keep it short tonight. Rooster Teeth. Yay, let's start it out with them. On the Spot was really good last week. I think that was the all ladies one, if I'm remembering correctly. I probably should have pulled it up. I actually forgot about On the Spot until I looked at the list. There's a cute little RTA about Bernie trip with like United Airlines or whatever, where like there's just horrible name similarities going on. Watch it; it's totally enjoyable. RTAs are always good. They're the best of the best of the podcast. Um, I also watched their Shady Agents thing, which is actually pretty interesting. It's good to see them go back to doing some RT shorts. It shows that they can really actually do some creative live action stuff. Which brings me to Red versus Blue. They've reached a point where their animation is actually better than the in-game footage from whatever, like to like a kind of a sickening degree. So like it's kind of jarring now to watch it go back and forth. I kind of wish they would just render the whole thing like them and stop doing machinima. Just make it a truly animated series. It's probably much more intensive to do that. I know the mocap suits and everything help, um, but just using the scenes for backgrounds and then just doing little models to run around in there would be interesting. I don't know if they could actually do that or not. I think when they go and they do the 3D rendering, like for the train and whatnot, I think that's all stuff they have to make. So maybe in a perfect world, but they're doing lots of production towards Ruby. Maybe Red versus Blue is headed that direction though, because honestly, like it's taken so many changes since like Bernie's initial rendition for the Blood Gulch Chronicles, and then when they got serious, and then now that Miles has taken his own serious take to it, been very interesting. Huge thing with character permanence. I'll let that be the spoiler in this episode, and I really never thought there'd be a character I didn't like that they would turn them around in one episode and actually make them worthwhile. Doing and by putting them in the fridge, no less. Normally I hate that to like a high regard. Um, but just the fact that like the Felix and Locust didn't have a contingency plan for what's happening in this episode is amazing in its own right. Like Carolina too, like I thought like she was supposed to be the most badass. And they actually refer to that in this season directly, but like she's been slow and sluggish, and I think they had to nerf her down just to make it comparable. But it is what it is. It's really good. I'm hoping that the release this weekend is gonna be like the part 3, and it's gonna be like the final big thing, and then maybe we'll have like a cleanup episode afterwards to set up for the following season. I'm hoping Miles is that type of writer instead of just leaving us hanging. I think Bernie did a little bit of that towards the end. Geek and Sundry. I am behind on things. I really am. But Guild of Dungeoneering. That's the first episode of Coopitude I've ever watched that actually made me want to go play the game, because it was a game that I hadn't seen before. I still hate their format on that show. I think that's fucking horrible to do the tilted screens. I really want to catch up on Critical Role and Titan's Grave, but I've got to make a set in Minecraft for bad summaries for Titan's Grave, so I can start doing those. Because once I got that done, then I can probably use that one for like the first 6 episodes. Honestly, there's not a lot of variation there. Oh yeah, Tabletop did not, to my recall, have an episode go out or a gag rule. I thought the gag rule was from before VidCon. Oh man. Or is the season over? That'd be really weird to end it on Roll For It and Sushi Go. Um, I seem to remember Will saying that they had another episode next week. We can make sure, but
Hey everybody! Next time on Tabletop,
oh, Mice and Mystics. Okay. I really am looking forward to seeing that one out on the board because that is a game that caught my eye way back when. I think it was Mouse Chibis. And it's been a lot of time on YouTube this past week just trying to get caught up on podcasts. Kind of Funny, Rooster Teeth, Jim Sterling, Dear Hank and John. I've ran to Ask the Fields, catching up on Game Theorist things that I've missed. Which led me into Five Nights at Freddy's nonsense. I don't want to get in on that, but God, that's such a mess of the internet if you get into that at all. If you don't know what Five Nights at Freddy's is, find out. Find out. Of course, my lovely friends over at the Weird Lanes got to live tweet with Amanda and Brandon and everybody last night for latest greatest Here's Awesome map making madness. Let the fucking kit go, guys. With that, other than that little expression of grief, still enjoying it. Like, and I don't enjoy playing D&D as much because of lots of reasons. A lot of it's the deliberation that the party's been going through this last episode. But I enjoy watching people who are interesting play it, especially if I can get it cut down like it is, or I can do it on my own schedule. So even like 3 hours like Critical Role and Twilight Chorus, which I need to catch up on, because episode 3 is out. I can do it on my own, and eventually I'll get to it. Eventually, but oi, get some bad summaries out. I'm hoping to do that this week. So before do it. Okay, this I get like Jim Sterling. He makes his buck on being crass, but the patch 114 Hearthstone and Handjobs didn't even go to it. It's just there on my homepage. So we're gonna end YouTube on that. Oh look, I've reduced my my Netflix disc, so there's gonna be less and less interesting stuff coming through there. Oh look, I haven't really watched anything on Netflix since 7/20 or 20 oh god 20 July. Nothing interesting coming up on Hulu, which is probably gonna change. It's gonna ruin my life because I'm trying to catch up on things. I did catch an episode of The Zoo a while back. I think it was Pack Mentality, though. I think there's a more recent episode, so I'm obviously behind on that by an episode, so it's not horrible. But that was the one where the animals that aren't part of a pack are starting to team up and do like covert ops nonsense. The zoo is really pushing the suspension of disbelief for this show. It really is kind of bothering me, if I'm going to be honest. Under the Dome is just as weird in different areas. I think I watched Cage. I don't know how people got in and out and whatnot, but when you're gonna kill somebody. Don't fucking like leave them over a pool of sharks with a slowly lowering platform. Don't do that. But it seems like the real big focus lately has been Barbie and like whether or not he's going to stay with the kinship or not, and like we have examples of people who aren't staying with the kinship even though they were cocooned. Obviously, the red-haired lady, I can't remember her name right now, was not cocooned. But um, it's a very mixed front. The only people who are truly united, because even the corporations killing themselves, is the kinship. So in theory, the kinship should win. But they've got to deal with the latest greatest issue. I'm gonna go ahead and say it because that was the last episode, and this is uh the Ejectas, the latest episode 6. Um, Christine got stabbed in the last episode I saw. So depending upon what happens with her, is going to greatly affect the kinship because they've been depending on her for leadership. I took a break on one Ramen One Half. I do want to mention really quick that if you are watching something, for the love of God, um, if you hit a point where it's too much and you're like, I'm not enjoying this anymore, fucking stop watching it. It happened with Rurouni Kenshin, and I loved that show. It's a great show, and Kenshin's such a great character. And I love the Edo period. I really do. When they Edo period animes are just some of the best. But Ranma is an all-time favorite of mine. But it's usually that first season, especially because they got the great theme music. But then it's 1 through 4 because it's hard to watch any of it at length past that, and then once you get through like hard battle and out of control or whatever, and that's where I'm at in season 6. I've got to go back eventually and try to finish it out because I think it's only season 6 and 7. There might be 8 seasons. Um, and then like a couple movies, and the movies are good. They're fun. But I don't think like the series comes to any great conclusion. I just want to watch everything I know I have. But I got a bug up my butt to go back and catch up on um, Covert. I'm sorry. I rewind. I wanted to see what was available on Prime because I know I'm paying for that, and I'm looking at cutting a dollar here or there where I can. I found this thing called Lost in Oz season 1. There's only one episode of it, as far as I can tell. I have no idea why this isn't a full show. It's beautiful. The animation's fantastic. The story's great. Um, it's essentially like Dorothy's daughter going back to Oz after all the events from the Wizard of Oz and the magic being lost in Oz. And what is it? Yeah, so the Dorothy in this one is the daughter of the original Dorothy. I don't even know if that's her name or not, but she's not magical, so she's immune to a lot of the stuff that's happening in the world. Um, but there's only one episode. I think there's a thing at the end of saying like, "Hey, go vote for this." I'm like, it's obviously from a while ago. I don't know when what happened. I should probably have that ready. I want that thing. Like, where do I got to throw money to get that? Because Wizard of Oz is great and wonderful. I sorely wanted a more up to date version, and not necessarily rebooting it, but like a continuation thereof. Like maybe even someone going back to that land and finding them because maybe it's timeless there, or maybe the Scarecrow and the Tin Man are immortal, and maybe the line's just old. I don't know. There's so many good ways you could go with it, but keep the canon. Always keep the canon. I hate rebooting things unnecessarily. Um, but Covert Affairs caught my eye because I was like, oh, I've got a couple seasons of this on this list, and it's all available. Where did I leave off? And I couldn't figure it out, so I was like, let me just start at the beginning, and then when I stopped recognizing things, or I went back a few episode by episode for a little bit, and I was like, let me just start over. And then I didn't recognize anything. Like I recognized the characters, I recognized specific little things here and there, but I didn't recognize generics. So I'm just watching through. I'm all the way through like season 3. I think there's 5 seasons. So by next week, I should be caught up. I think may or may not be. I gotta go out of town again, so probably not. But we'll see how far we get with it. And I still have not watched any True Detective. I am punishing myself by paying for HBO Now and not bloody using it at all. You'd think like I'd watch Gone Girl or something at least, but I just no. I've got too many other things grabbing my attention right now. And while I usually, no matter what I'm doing, I've got a show in the background, which is why I do this weekly. With travel, it's been messing me up, and if I'm going to stream or record anything, I can't have the audio going. So with that, I'm going to call that right there, and wish everyone who bothers to watch this well. Thank you for watching. I am Kamurai. Until you see me next time, have a nice day.